what do we mean by ratio? So when we compare two or more quantities, two or more numbers, then we are dealing with ratio. So ratio is a way of comparing two or more quantities or numbers. Example, the ratio of men to women in the city, the ratio of boys to girls in the classroom, the ratio of green cards to the number of blue cards in a set of cards. And there are a lot more, of course. And there are different ways on how we can write ratios. So the first one is using the word to. So you say A to B. So again, one way of writing ratio is using the word to. So we are comparing A to B. The second method is replacing the word to by a colon symbol. So we can say A to B. You read it as A to B even though you replace the word to with the symbol colon. And the third method is we will be using a fraction. So ratio can be written also as a fraction provided your denominator should not be equal to 0. If your denominator is 0, remember, any number divided by 0 is undefined. So we cannot find a value for it. So again, there is a condition that when you are writing ratio, please make sure that your denominator should not be equal to 0. So these are the three different ways of writing ratios. So how we are going to simplify or write ratio in simplest form? So ratio can be written in simplest form by dividing the numbers in the ratio by the highest common factor, or we call it HCF. Remember, in the recap, we reviewed how to write fractions in simplest form. And the same method we will be using. We will be dividing each number in the ratio by the highest common factor of the given numbers. And ratio can be simplified as what I have said, just like fractions, because we are going to divide each part by the HCF, or the highest common factor. If you find it easy to simplify fractions, then this topic is also easy for you. But you have to be extra careful, especially if the units are different. Let's simplify the given ratio. Now I want you to think year 8. What do you think is the highest common factor that we can use to divide each of these number in the ratio? Do you have the number already, year 8? What is the highest common factor? Yes, it's 4. So I'm going to divide 12 and 20 by 4. It should be the same number. So 12 divided by 4, that gives me 3. And 20 divided by 4, that gives me 5. So the simplest form of 12 to 20 is 3 to 5. That would be your final answer. Again, may I remind you, year 8, if you cannot find the highest common factor, which is 4, you can simply start dividing 12 by 2 and divide 20 by 2, provided you have to divide it again until such time that the common factor between the two numbers is 1. It must be in the simplest form. Okay, so I want you to try this one. This time, there are 3 numbers in this ratio. But then again, the method or the steps are the same. Think of a number or the highest common factor that we can use to divide each of these numbers. So what is the highest common factor, year 8? Yes, so we will be dividing 12, 30, and 24 by 6. So 12 divided by 6, 30 divided by 6, and 24 divided by 6. And 12 divided by 6 will give me an answer which is 2. And 30 divided by 6 is 5. And 24 divided by 6 is 4. So this is the simplest form of the ratio 12 to 30 to 24. So it's easy. Now, I want you to answer this one, year 8, and let's see if you know already how to do this before we are going to proceed in simplifying ratios with different units. So I'm giving you time, maybe 1 minute to answer this question. All right? You can pause the video if you need more time, year 8. Let's check your answer. So what is the highest common factor? We can divide 15, 9, and 36 by 3. It should be common to each of the number. So 15 divided by 3, 9 divided by 3, and 36 divided by 3. If in 9 and 36, of course, we can divide both by 9, but remember, you have to consider number 15. So all of these numbers should have the same common factor. That's why we have we divide it by 3 because 3 is the highest common factor of the 3 numbers in the ratio. So 15 divided by 3 will give you 5, and 9 divided by 3 will give you 3, and 36 divided by 3, of course, is 12. So the simplest form is 5 to 3 to 12. Okay? Did you get it right? You're right. So this time, I am giving you a ratio with different units. One is written in meters, while the other one is written in centimeters. So before you are going to simplify this, you have to convert into the same units. And remember, 2 meters is how many centimeters? Or 1 meter is 100 centimeters. So 2 meters is how many centimeters? It's 200. So again, 1 meter is 100 centimeters. You know that. And that since we have 2 meters, so we have 200 centimeters. So we are going to replace 2 meters here. I'm going to replace this 2 meters here by 200 centimeters. So I will be able to simplify the ratio since I have now the same units. And when you are having the same units already, again, I replace 2 meters by 200 centimeters. But since I am dealing already with exactly the same units, so you don't need to write the units. Again, if the units are the same, no need to write the units. But in here, since the units are different, so we have to write the units. After making them into the same units, then no need to write the units for both. You can proceed in simplifying by finding the highest common factor. And what is that? Year 8, highest common factor between 200 and 50? It's 50, correct. So 200 divided by 50 will give you 4, and 50 divided by itself, of course, will give you 1. So it's 4 to 1. Let's try. If you are still confused, let's have another one. So I have here 12 seconds to 1 minute. 1 minute is how many seconds? Very simple. 1 minute is equal to 60 seconds. So I'm going to replace 1 minute here by 60 seconds. And if I'm after replacing 1 minute by 60 seconds, I don't need to write the unit for which is seconds since I am dealing the same units already. I'll just simply copy the number here and copy Replace again, I have replaced 1 minute by 60 seconds, so that's why I just have here 60. Since this is seconds, no need to write the unit if the same unit already. Now let's find the highest common factor here, 8. Which one we can use to divide 12 and 60? It's 12 itself, correct. So I'm going to divide 12 by 12 and 60 divided by 12, since 60 is a multiple of 12. So 12 divided by 12, that gives you 1, and 60 divided by 12, that gives you 5. So the simplest form is 1 to 5. Okay, simple. But please be extra careful, especially we are dealing with different units. And make sure you can recall different metric units so it would be easy for you to convert before you simplify the ratio. So let's have more example. I want you to try this out. So simplify this ratio and let's see. So I'm giving you time. Pause the video if you need to, if you need more time. And let's see if you will be able to get the correct answers for this. Okay, so let's check your answer. What is the highest common factor between 9 and 8? 18. It's 9. So 9 divided by 9 is 1. 18 divided by 9, it's 2. So final answer is 1 to 2. And what is the highest common factor for 10 and 16? It's 2. So 10 divided by 2 is 8. It's 5, I mean, and 16 divided by 2, it's 8. Again, so I am dividing 10 here by 2 since 2 is the highest common factor, and I am dividing also 8 by 2. That's why our final answer is 5 to 8. In 25 and 80, what do you think your 8 is the highest common factor? Yes, it's 5. You are correct. So I'm going to divide this 25 by 5. That will give me 5. And I'm going to divide also 80 by 5. And that will give me 16. So the final answer is 5 to 16. Did you get it right? You're right. And the last one, what do you think is the highest common factor for these three numbers in this ratio? It's 4. Let's check. So if I'm going to divide 8 by 4, it's equal to 2. If I'm going to divide the 20 by 4, that will give me 5. And I'm going to divide this 12 by 4, then I will be getting 3. So your final answer is 2 to 5 to 3.